Hey guys, welcome to Interesting Video on Wild Rifts. They're back with a Ashe support supplementary guide. Now this is kind of the Ashe support but with a carry build that I really don't want to recommend, and I just kind of theory crafted this build to see if it will work, and the answer is it kind of does work. So this is kind of a cross between a carry Ashe and like a support Ashe. Of course, I've seen a lot of Ashe support players that just build full crit like a ADC Ashe, but I think that build's way too expensive when you're playing support. So I kind of tried to go for cheaper items like Mana Mule, like Lethality and stuff like that instead, and see if it works. You'll see from the gameplay later it does work, but again, I just recommend you guys to go for the actual support build, like the one with Imperial Mandate and stuff. I covered that in a complete guide some time ago, so go check that out. But yeah, so let's talk about this build. So obviously support, you're gonna start off with the support item. Now, I think the best support item is gonna be Relic Shield, because I like to get that a little bit of health from Relic Shield, and also just controlling the wave is really good. Of course, you could also take one of the other support items, that also works as well, but personally I just prefer to take Relic Shield. So you want to get Mana Mune. So Mana Mune is one of the most goal efficient items in the game because it gives you, of course, a lot of good stats for very cheap. So you get a lot of mana, of course, ability haste, attack damage, and when it evolves into the Mana Mune, Mirror Mana, sorry, you can, of course, deal extra damage on your abilities as well as your auto attacks, which will be very useful. And you want to get Ionian Boots of Lucidity because you want to be able to spam your W, so you want that cooldown. Of course, it's the main good part about Ashe support. Now, most games there are going to be champions who have shielding, so you want to get Serpent's Fang here. This, of course, gives you damage in terms of armor pen as well as AD, but also gives you the Shield Weaver passive to allow you to give the utility to your team to remove the shields from the enemy team, or not remove, but reduce. Then after that, I like to go for Black Cleaver. This, of course, gives you good stats in terms of ability haste, attack damage, as well as health, but also gives you the Rage passive for movement speed and the Sunder passive to shred enemies down. Because if you pop your Q and you auto attack someone once, it's gonna instantly charge up the Sunder passive to full, because those your Q counts is like 6 auto attacks in terms of charging Black Cleaver. So this is gonna be able to shred the enemy team's defenses, both for yourself as well as for your allies. And finally, small reminder for the armor pen together with the grievous wounds. Now, if you have enough gold to sell your support item and buy another item, you want to go for Runan's Hurricane. Or if there's no shielding, you want to skip this, and you could either go for this or build these two earlier and build this as the last item. This, of course, gives you attack speed and allows you to attack 3 people at one time, which then also allows you to shred 3 people at one time, and of course just basically increase your damage and your slows. So for the runes, I've tested many different runes. So I've tried, of course, Fleet Footwork, I've tried Conqueror, I've tried Airy, I've tried Lethal Tempo, and more or less the best rune I think is going to be actually Kraken Slayer, then maybe followed by like Lethal Tempo. So I like Kraken Slayer because you get early game power in terms of the 3 attacks. Of course, you can proc it in lane, but then it also kind of scales okay into the later game because you do have a decent amount of AD from your build, so it's gonna do some damage in the late game as well. Now for the other runes, aside from the Keystone, you actually have a couple options. So the first option is to go Domination. So Domination is gonna give you a lot of extra poke damage. So Scorch, of course, once again in lane gives you a lot of extra damage. Cheap Shot, of course, once again does a lot of extra poke damage for you. And of course, Eyeball Collector, gives you the extra AD. And then I like to actually go for Legend Alacrity to give myself extra attack speed because my build has no attack speed at all, and of course I want to build attack a little bit faster. But another option could also be Giant Slayer. Of course, if the enemy team is very tanky, you could also go for Inspiration and go for more cooldown with Transcendence. So you do have a lot of options. Now the second option is to take your primary tree as, of course, your precision tree. Couldn't find the word there. So of course then you will take Brutal, Giant Slayer, and Alacrity. And of course for your minor you can of course continue to go for Transcendence, or you could also of course then go for Scorch or Cheap Shot here. Or you could also even go for defensive options such as the Bone Plating. So you really have a lot of options when it comes to runes for this particular build. And for the spells, you want to go for Flash, and most of the time you want to go for Ghost, because once again, Ghost on Ashe is very useful for cutting in and out of fights. Of course, as a support, you can go for Heal or Exhaust as well. So with all that out of the way, let's jump into talking about our gameplay.
Welcome to Wild Rift.
Okay, so now we're gonna take a look at our gameplay itself. So starting up in the lane, obviously you generally don't want to play carry Ashe support. As I said, I'm really not advocating for it, but I just wanted to show you guys that it kind of does work. You'll see that it's not really the best because you do damage but not amazing damage, and you have utility and really good utility just based on the fact that you're an Ashe. But again, I think if you want to play Ashe support, you should be going for the full supportive build to support your team and not trying to pretend to be an ADC and go for this kind of carry-ish kind of build. But of course, there are always players who completely don't trust their team. So if you get auto-filled support, you know, you want to play like damage center, you want to play like damage Ashe, you know, there are always those type of players. So, you know, I mean, it is possible, as you will see here, you know, to be successful on like damage Ashe. But I think that this is a really selfish play style where you of course have to pretty much play like an ADC, but you are supposed to be a support, which is kind of what I don't really like, because, you know, when I play ADC, I don't want to have this kind of support. So if I get support, I'm generally gonna just be supportive and not kind of do this to my ADC and my team. But yeah, so we're just testing it out for like a couple of games, and you know, you have to kind of really be selfish here. So we're just taking the fruit all for ourselves. We don't care about Sivir. We don't want to give her any fruit. We're just taking it for ourselves. Here we're just gonna try to step up. We're gonna just try to proc Kraken Slayer here, which we do. But you know, we get a little bit too eager, and we end up basically taking a bad trade with Caitlyn, because obviously after we got Kraken Slayer onto Sona, we should just back off. And here we can see Aatrox is in the blue buff, so we want to be a little bit careful, because it means that he could, you know, come down here and, you know, maybe even dive us. By the way, guys, I did actually do this. I played this game after patch 4.4C. Patch notes released, but for some reason the patch was not live until after this game. So after I played this game, then the patch actually went live, which is really weird, because there was like a like 3-4 hour delay between the patch notes releasing and the patch going live. So I actually kind of thought that the patch was live, but number one, Ashe's Q was not yet buffed, and number two, Sona was not yet reworked. So I played against this Sona and I thought I was gonna get stunned by her, but nope, I didn't get stunned by her at all. So I guess this is gonna be the last gameplay that I'm gonna play in patch you know, 4.4C. So that was kind of weird, but yeah. So obviously we, at this point we've already done some 4.4 or this is the last game of 4.4B. At this point I've already done some 4.4C, guys, because I don't really release my videos in order. I kind of just, you know, go at the order that I want. So, you know, I decided to do the complete guides first, which I felt were more relevant, and I think that this carry Ashe support video is going to be less relevant, so I'm releasing it a little bit later than the order I actually played the games in. But anyways, here, Caitlyn is not really a very good lane, as in, Ashe versus Caitlyn is an okay lane, because you don't get abused by Caitlyn as much as other ADCs. But then again, the kind of issue with this is that as an Ashe, you want to abuse other ADCs as well, and with Caitlyn then you can't abuse her because her range is too long. So it would be great if you could play against like a Vayne, a Kai'Sa, or basically anybody who's not a Caitlyn. So much easier to abuse them. So we can't really abuse her because, you know, obviously she's Caitlyn and, you know, she has a lot of range. So you know, me and her have almost the same range. Caitlyn has barely more range than Ashe, so, you know, it's not really gonna work out. So here Tristafate tries to make a play. Unfortunately, he gets stunned by the Sona, and I kind of whiffed the arrow because I couldn't really see. I was trying to walk up at the same time, and I wasn't really driving my arrow. I kind of just assumed that it would hit around there, but unfortunately, Caitlyn got back a little bit further than what I would have liked. So unfortunately, that does not really work out, and yeah, so kind of a waste here now. That's kind of really unfortunate for Twisted Fate, because Twisted Fate's first ulti is always very important to get successful. But, you know, that kind of just fails, and Kayn just comes over and does pretty much nothing as well. Okay, so now we're headed back to lane. Obviously now not too much is going on. So here you can see I went for Tear as my first item just to begin stacking it up, because Ashe takes really long to stack up the Tear and evolve it, of course, when you get to the Mana Mune. And now I'm going to build the Lucidity boost, because that's a really strong early game spike, getting that cooldown reduction to be able to spam more Ws. That's pretty huge, so we are of course going to go for that. And here we are basically just trying to get W poked down whenever possible, and we're trying to auto whenever possible, but it's kind of hard because Sona can just Q us whenever we get close, and Caitlyn can auto us as well, so we don't really win trades against this particular lane. I only picked this when I saw Sona. The ADC was the last pick on the enemy team, so we couldn't really see the ADC, and unfortunately it was Caitlyn, which is not really the best matchup for me, which of course is unfortunate, but hey, you can't really do anything about that after you've picked already. So here we can complete our boots, and here Rift Herald and Dragon have spawned. So I'm headed to mid lane and see where I can help out my team. Kane was initially trying to do Rift Herald, but it doesn't really work out because Aatrox does end up being there. The enemy team is basically finishing up Rift Herald at this point, and Kane decides to go for Dragon instead. The issue here is that because Sivir is pinned under the tower and she can't actually help us, I know that the enemy team is going to reach here in time to actually stop us because we don't do this nearly fast enough. So that's why I'm staying over the wall and attacking it here so that I don't get trapped in the pit like you see here when the entire enemy team comes. Kane tries to blast plant in, just dies for it basically, which is not worth it at all. Now Aatrox is running us down, nearly gets the kill on us. Caitlyn tries to ulti and I barely manage to live. He instead goes and flashes for Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate gold cards him but gets knocked up and just dies basically. So the Aatrox is a huge problem. He's going for a full lethality kind of build, and he's 4-1 and 2 after this kerfuffle. And Aatrox is going to be a really huge problem throughout this whole game, and I think Aatrox is probably going to be the biggest, or not think, I kind of know because I've already played this game, right, obviously. So Aatrox basically becomes the biggest problem out of anybody on the enemy team for basically my whole team.
Turret lost.
And he later very intelligently buys a QSS as well, which basically means that we can't, stun him, or rather, we can stun him, but he's gonna QSS it. Obviously, with a Ashe and a Twisted Fate on the team, it's a really high value QSS game, so obviously that's really logical for him to go for that. Here I spot Sona trying to back, so I actually launched my arrow down. I actually thought Caitlyn backed already, but unfortunately Caitlyn was still there. And we do a lot of burst damage to Sona initially, but ends up not really getting the kill. Here Sivir's taking a lot of damage. I'm able to actually get the kill onto Caitlyn, but Sona lives on really low HP. So here I'm just going to walk up and slow her down with my auto attacks. I eventually finish her off, but not before Aatrox hops in and kills both me and Sivir. So now he is now 6-1 and 2 with both Triforce as well as Duskblade completed. I'm not sure why he got it from Triforce. It's a really weird Aatrox item because you don't really auto attack in between your Qs anyway. But anyways, he does have he is really fat essentially. He has like almost double my goal at this point. So Aatrox is gonna be a huge problem. And while I can slow him, he does have a lot of movement speed with his ulti, and he has a dash as well, so it's really difficult to deal with him. Here I'm trying to launch an arrow to help my team. I get the stun onto the Aatrox, which at least prevents him from following my team or chasing us down. So it barely helps, I guess you could say. And here I'm just trying to check. I see Aatrox at my buff area. He ults and tries to go in. I get knocked up by him. I'm trying to run. You can see that I try to slow him down, but he basically just one-shots me. He Qs twice and autos me, and I'm just instantly dead. So yeah, definitely a huge problem here. For some reason, Sivir tries to go in 1v3. I'm not sure what she was thinking here. Maybe she thought she had a tower and she could do something, but yeah, that's not really how it works. So Caitlyn is getting caught out by Twisted Fate. Jace decides to just walk away, so Twisted Fate is now stuck in a 1v1 with the Caitlyn, and Caitlyn actually nearly survives and kills Twisted Fate, but Twisted Fate barely manages to secure the kill. So here the enemy team is pushing down the tower, and I'm thinking maybe a play can be made here. Maybe we can run them down. So I stun the Yone, but Kayn basically is uninterested. I'm not sure if why. I guess maybe he has form, so maybe he just decides that he just wants to go back and get form. So he basically just ignores my play, and yeah, basically I wasted my ult there because my team, being Kayn, basically refused to follow up. But oh well. So here we've completed our mana mune. Obviously we're gonna next build into Serpent's Fang. A lot of shielding on the enemy team. We have, of course, Yone's W. We have mainly the main problem here is Sona W, which is gonna heal and shield the team by a lot. So here Aatrox is really overextended, so is Gwen. So here I'm just pelting Aatrox. Of course I'm focusing the Aatrox. I get the stun on him. I actually get the kill on him and get the 1k shutdown. And now I'm gonna focus the Gwen. So I'm popping the Ghost, running her down. Unfortunately though, Caitlyn's behind to lay down a little bit of cover fire, so I can't run her down any further because Caitlyn is gonna kill me in the grand scheme of things. So we have to back off. In the meantime, no one is taking this wave, so I'm just gonna take the wave. And we see a fight happening in mid. So here we're rotating over to mid lane to see if anything can be done. Ashe can make a big difference in team fights because sometimes one slow is enough to either escape or to run down the enemy team. So here the fight basically is over by the time I get there. So now I'm gonna back and start buying some stuff using my huge amount of gold I got from the Aatrox kill. I'll actually get both my components for my Serpent's Fang. And you can see now, in terms of gold, because I got that shutdown, I actually have more gold than Sivir and Twisted Fate at this point, which is pretty funny. So here the next dragon is up. I'm gonna send my Hawkshot to check on it, obviously, and the enemy team is of course just getting the dragon basically. I don't really think this is a very good fight, but you know what, we end up going for it anyways. Here again, Aatrox is going ham. He tries to run to the back line. I'm trying to focus him, and I actually managed to kill him again. Of course, this time he doesn't have a shutdown. Here, Yone tries to chase in but gets killed by me and stunned by Twisted Fate, or rather gets slowed by me and killed by Twisted Fate, I guess you could say. So here Twisted Fate's not really low, we have the tower to play around with, and I'm trying to basically get something done. Here Gwen dashes in but runs into the stun card. I managed to finish her off. Sona actually misses her ulti, but her Q auto is enough to actually kill me. I tried to flash away to get out of range of Sona and Caitlyn, but unfortunately that did not work out. However, what is working out though is the fact that off of the kill, I'm able to actually pick up my Serpent's Fang. So here Kate now on the chase. Sona looks like she's dead to rights, and she is. Caitlyn, instead of running away, decides to kite, and because she does that, ends up getting caught as well. So my team able to trade some kills back, and we are really behind this game. So we have objective bounties, and we just got one in the mid lane. And this allows me to go back and actually complete my stasis. Now I decided to go for a really early stasis in this particular match because I realized that in a lot of situations where like Yone, Gwen, or Aatrox is on top of me, the only way I survive is the stasis and hope my team can kill them. So we'll see if this early stasis investment actually pays off. So once again here, at this point, this is not really even being selfish. This is honestly just being logical because if you guys can see, I'm actually 5-3-1, whereas Sivir is 0-5, and I have more gold than Sivir by like 1k. So it honestly, red buff is better than me on me than Sivir because Sivir is like so far behind. So here we try to get a pick on Aatrox, and it eventually does work out. Gwen is now trying to get a pick on us. So the fight looks okay at the beginning until the whole enemy team shows up, and here I know I'm dead, so I tried to trade onto the Gwen, but it did not work and I end up dying. Sivir slows herself by taking the fruit for some reason, and she dies as well. So our team basically gets aced, except for the fact that now Jace has respawned. So now Jace is trying to see what he can get done, but Jace is not doing too hot either. She's 3-5, and he has Maw as his first item, so that's pretty questionable. Considering the only magic damage on their team is Gwen, although he has been getting whooped by Gwen in lane. Gwen is 6-1-6, but somehow he is the same goal as Gwen, so it's not too bad, I guess. Of course, on my team, Kayn is doing the best at 10k gold. But of course we can't compete with the Aatrox at nearly 13k gold. So Aatrox now has the collector, and yeah, it's a really tough game to say the least, mainly because of the Aatrox. So Kayn decides to go for his blue buff, despite the fact that there's like 3 enemies there. He does eventually get it, though, and he is able to get out alive. Now all 5 members of the enemy team are here. We don't really want to fight them because obviously we are the weaker team, so there's no reason to want to pick a fight if there's nothing to fight over, especially. So here I'm just waiting because I don't really know where the enemy team are. Now I can see they're actually in mid, so Gwen's actually here alone. So here we're just going to clear the wave together with Sivir. And yeah, so we of course have to be aware that they might be able to do Baron. I think that they're doing Baron because they all look like they're walking towards the pit, so I'm going to check. And they are actually doing Baron. And here we're going to have to try to walk through the Caitlyn traps. Or rather, they actually turn on us. So here, I'm just, basically blasting whoever I can. Gwen is chasing really far in. I pop the ghost, I pop the flash. I'm kiting the Gwen out, and Gwen realizes that, oh no, I'm in trouble. And it's too late because I'm able to actually kill her. And somehow Kayn actually picks up 3 kills on the back end. So we actually managed to ace the enemy team with only me and Kayn left alive, which is pretty huge. So here we're thinking maybe we can Baron. But the Baron at this point does too much damage. So we do decent damage to the Baron, but But Kayn is taking way too much damage. The Baron changes focus to me, and I'm taking damage now, so we can't really do Baron. We have to just back. And Dragon is coming up. So the enemy team has double Dragon already. So if we give them this one, they're gonna get Ice Dragon Soul. Again, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but if you can deny it, just deny it. Why not? So here I've actually picked up an early Executioner's Calling because there's a lot of healing on the enemy team. Gwen healing on her passive and her Riftmaker. Aatrox healing on his ulti. Double lifesteal items on both Caitlyn as well as Yone, and of course Sona is healing as well. So much value from Executioner's Calling here, which is of course why I'm getting it. And yeah, so once again we're just gonna grab ourselves the red buff. And take the chickens as well while we're at it. Why not? We have a 1 in 7 Sivir who's really not too useful. I do believe, yeah, I did do more damage than her in the end, at the end of the game, so we are a lot more useful than her. So here we're just gonna quickly clear the wave, and nothing too much is happening here. Only Baron is up, so that's the only objective that could be happening. So you can see Aatrox is in the area, so we want to be, of course, aware. But you can see his team is all not really in the area, so that should not really be an issue. So my team is making a play on top, on the Gwen, and here I spot Caitlyn just walking towards us for some reason. So here I'm just gonna ult her and just kill her. I don't know what she was thinking there. Here I tried to ghost in to kill Sona, but she's a little bit too fast. Twisted Fate comes in with a stun card behind, and we're trying to run down the Yone. I flash forward, and we're able to kill the Yone. Sona is now running for the hills. And here in comes Aatrox. Look at that huge damage from Aatrox. Here is the stasis that I was talking about. So I was able to stasis and let my team kill him and survive. So stasis does end up actually coming in clutch here. It did take some time for it to actually, save me though. So you could argue that I could have gone for it a little bit later. Anyways, here we're just gonna back and we're gonna complete Black Cleaver because we have enough gold for it now. So now we are able to shred the enemy's armor, and we have basically a full AD team aside from Twisted Fate. So this is gonna be useful for not just me but for the whole team as well. So once again, the whole name of the game here is you're going damage items like Black Cleaver and like Serpent's Fang, but you are still having utility. So it's not a complete complete carry build. Like you're not going for like a full crit build like a Ashe, like the one I just covered not too long ago in my updated complete guide. Not quite, but it's still a very carry oriented build. So here my team decides to go for Baron. Now, a really kind of easy trick is if you go for Baron like when Elder Dragon is spawning, a lot of times the enemy team does not suspect it because they all are trying to get ready for Elder. So here you can see we are going for Baron, but and the enemy team does come and steals it instead because Arcane can smite. We're able to kill Aatrox and Yone though, so this is actually fine because they can't really use their Baron anymore because of the fact that 2 of their members are dead. And Elder Dragon is now coming up in 5 seconds, and their jungler is dead. So this should give us free Elder Dragon because the jungler is still dead for 40 seconds. So this is not too bad. This is not too bad of an outcome in the grand scheme of things. So here, of course, we're just gonna blast down this Elder Dragon, like so. In the meantime, Jace is kind of just distracting them in a minute. I say distracting, but I probably think he just tried to take a bad fight. Either way, he is being the distraction. We are able to get it. And here I'm gonna ult the Sona. Sona obviously just dies instantly because we have Elder Dragon. And we can continue to run them down, which is going to desync their death timer. So here we can kill all of them. And if we do kill all of them, which we just did, now all of them are dead for 40 seconds. And now Kayn and Yone are left alive. So that's why I was thinking we should take advantage of this. The fact that only 2 members are left alive and just continue on pushing. Yone comes in with the ulti. I'm able to dodge it, silver spell shields. Unfortunately though, we are still gonna die. And I try to actually ult Aatrox to run, but he QSS's and I'm just dead. So it turned out that that was not a very good decision. Maybe if Twisted Fate stayed, it would have been an okay decision. But since Twisted Fate was not willing to stay anyway, then we probably should just backed off and not greeted for that tier 2 tower. Because now we end up dead. So we now waste our Elder as well. So me, Kayn, and Sivir all don't have Elder now. Only Twisted Fate and Jace has Elder, which is of course a little bit suboptimal. And it is somewhat of a throw here. But anyways, what's done is done. So now we're gonna, of course, wait for the respawn and see what we can do about this situation. So here the whole enemy team is in the bot side jungle. for some reason. And here we're just waiting to respawn. Now that we do, again, there's nothing to fight over. The next Elder Dragon is in a long time more, like I think like 2-3 minutes more, and Baron is like in about a minute plus. So nothing to really fight over. We still have Elder Dragon for like 20 seconds. So a fight ends up breaking out, which is not very intelligent by the enemy team because we still have 2 Elder Dragons on our team. So here I'm just basically hitting whoever I can. Elder Dragon comes in from Twisted Fate. Unfortunately though, I end up getting run down by Aatrox again. And here Twisted Fate is running for the hills. Kayn going in here does get the kill. I think that was Twisted Fate's Elder Dragon because Kayn was dead, so he couldn't have had Elder Dragon. But thing is, Twisted Fate's Elder Dragon plus Red Buff Burn that did pick up the kill there. And now they're trying to make a play. Kayn is going for his E all the way to mid lane. Stun goes in on Sona, knockup into the ulti, kills the Caitlyn as well. And now Gwen gets stunned into knockup into death. And now once again we picked up all 3 kills. And enemy team is aced. And now Kayn and Twisted Fate can go ahead and get a mid lane inhib. And then Baron is spawning in like 20 seconds. So Baron's of course going to be the next objective that we're going to fight over. So mid lane inhib secured. Meanwhile, you can see what I'm doing here. So here I'm going to set up a slow push. What this does is basically, you can see I cleared the enemy minions so that my wave can go forward. And my wave is going to accumulate with the next wave that comes. And it's going to slowly push towards the enemy side of the map. So we're going to see what this does later. But this slow push setup is actually pretty huge. So here, we're now just going to straight up do the Baron. Once again, Aatrox tries to come in for the steal. This time, he doesn't get it though, so he just dies. Yone comes in after the Baron is already dead and just goes in 1v5 literally. And basically, it just kills himself. So now 2 enemy team members are dead. Here I was actually pinging for the end because actually I felt that with Aatrox and Yone dead, who are the 2 most fed members, we could have just 5-man forced the end in mid lane. But since my team was not cooperating, we have no choice but to go ahead and push out of the lane. So here you can see, I'm going to cut the wave here to stop it from going to my minion wave. And you can see here is the wave that I prepared just now from the slow push. So you can see here, this is like I think double cannon here, or yeah, double cannon wave here. So we're going to be able to use this to push. I get the stun onto the Sona for my Twisted Fate to follow up on, and she dies. And in the meanwhile, we can pick up this tower as well as the other tower, and basically it's game here. Enemy team is all dead except Caitlyn, and Caitlyn can't defend against 3, cannon, not even 3 cannon waves, but all 3 lanes with like 5 cannons and a super minion. So yeah. Anyways, I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. You can see that I basically had more gold and did more damage than, I think both Jace and Sivir. I think I barely did less damage than Twisted Fate. So, once again, going to leave you guys with the rest of the stats. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.